Hello again.
Hello.
How are you? Have you booked a trip to Disney yet?
I'd love to go back.
If you watched last week's video, you know that we spent over a month in the Central Florida area, or just in Florida in general. And we realized that we love Universal and Disney.
We do.
Surprise. But we also realized that if you're gonna spend time there, and you're like us and you think, wow, Disney's expensive and very busy and maybe we should break up our trip, what else is there to do in the Orlando area?
The answer is a lot.
A whole lot. We're gonna tell you about them now. Now! After I look at my notes. Last week, obviously, we covered the amusement parks. So now, everything else. In the city of Orlando, there are a whole lot of tourist attraction, fun things to do. What is there to do, Cheska?
There's a lot to do.
Well, this feels like cheating, so I'll say the first one. Disney Springs is not a Disney World resort, so we can talk about it today.
You can park there for free. There's lots of restaurants and shopping, and it is a lot of fun to check out if you're kind of wanting to have a little bit of Disney experience, but you don't want to pay the money to go into the park. So that's a really good option, and you get to park for free.
Similarly, Universal has their own version of Disney Springs, and that is the Universal City Walk. It's really cool because parking is free after 6 p.m. and it is just like this big mall area. There's a putt-putt place, there's a huge movie theater, there's all sorts of restaurants, and it is a great kind of contained place for you to take your kids.
There's ice cream, there's really awesome donuts and coffee, and yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was fun.
So we also one day, actually Cheska didn't get to go because she was doing something else. We took the kids to the Crayola factory one day, and it was a little crowded and a little pricey, but the kids just absolutely loved it. It's like an indoor play place and all sorts of fun little activities for the kids to do, and it's self-contained and inside, and that was really, really nice. But at the end of the day also, Orlando is a major city. You can go watch the Magic play basketball. You can go to the zoo. There's an aquarium. There are other small amusement parks. And you know, it's a city. I took Hannah one night to Main Event. Jessica and I are doing something right now that we think is very important.
Yes.
What are we doing, Hannah?
Going on a date.
Yep, and what's Mom and Isaac doing?
We're having a stay inside date.
Yeah. Jessica and I have learned and realized that it's important, just as important for the kids to have some alone time as it is for us.
Absolutely.
So we are gonna go on a date. There are arcades, there are any number of things.
The big mall.
The big mall, oh my gosh, the big magical fancy mall.
Fancy mall.
There's a giant Ferris wheel. You should do the giant Ferris wheel too.
There's a lot of options if you just kind of want to take a day to explore the area, or maybe just take a little break from the theme parks.
A little too overwhelming to put all of them in this video because there was a lot of stuff to do there. We didn't go, but there's a place called GATORLAND. Look it up. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
No.
Oh man.
After that, you can get out of town a little bit. And there are a whole lot of really cool lakes and lake towns around Orlando.
Yeah.
That's what we stayed in. We stayed in TAVARES.
It's America's seaplane city. Don't know if you are aware of that.
If you didn't know that, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
It's not just a lake town. It's America's seaplane city. Which actually is quite magical because it does have seaplanes that are like landing and taking off multiple times a day. And so if you have someone in your family that loves airplanes, like our little boy, it is just the sweetest thing in the world. So in addition to having all the seaplanes, one of the things I just loved about TAVARES, they have just a really dreamy playground area, kind of like right there on the lake. And it's just kind of this like older kind of woodland like playground, but the kids are just like playing on this playground with these big oak trees with the Spanish moss just like floating through the air when the wind blows. It just felt so magical. The whole area is really a lot like that.
Every town we went to had a really cool playground. We also loved our time in TAVARES because A, it's on the lake, and Grandpa John has a boat and took us out on the lake, and there are actually canals connecting several of the lakes in the area. You could literally go from the lake in TAVARES all the way to the ocean if you wanted to, which was really fun. And even going through the canals, there's like alligators and stuff, which we didn't get to see, but Hannah got to see.
Did she see one?
Yeah, she got to see one, which was really cool. Lots of wildlife, lots of things to explore. There's several other towns nearby. We went to Mount Dora.
Mount Dora is so cute. It's this quaint little lake town, and their downtown area is pretty big, really. And there's lots of really fun shops and ice cream places, and it's just really fun to walk around. And some of it's a little bit more upscale, some of it is a little bit more affordable, but it's just neat to kind of get out and walk around and kind of see what that area has to offer. I like Mount Dora a lot.
One place we didn't get to see that we really wanted to see was APOPKA.
APOPKA?
APOPKA. APOPKA.
Lake APOPKA.
Lake APOPKA, which apparently has some really great
wildlife
areas and things along those lines.
Trails. And then I think that there's, I'm not sure exactly where, but there's some springs nearby that I wish we would have gotten to go to. We didn't get to, where the water is really clear and the manatees swim up from the ocean in the winter time, and then you can like paddleboard with the manatees, or you can see them from the shoreline, or I think you can even swim with them sometimes. So
that would be really cool.
I know.
So 3 springs that we did hear of that are apparently really, really cool were, I lost them.
Blue Springs,
Three Sisters Springs, and Manatee Springs. I guess Manatee Springs might have the manatees.
I think maybe they all have the manatees.
Also, because this is like a retirement, I mean, there's so many retirement communities around there. There's a lot of cool stuff going on all the time. We got to go to 2 different farmers markets. Our favorite was in the Villages, which is one of the biggest retirement communities in the country, if not the biggest.
Yep.
And it's fancy. We really enjoyed our time there, and it was the nicest farmers market I've ever been to.
It was really nice. They had a lot of really neat things. If you're under retirement age, you may feel a little bit out of place, but at the same time, we were completely welcome, so it was really nice.
Yeah, our kids, they were kind of treated like royalty. Like literally people like stopped and looked and they were like, children. It was great.
They do exist.
They do exist.
In the Mount Dora area, just where we were, it was like one weekend was a Jane Austen festival. Literally the next weekend was like a
Scottish Highlands Festival.
Scottish Highlands Festival.
Yeah, there's always stuff going on. You just have to do a little bit of digging. And then also, guys, you're in Florida. There's also a ton of beaches within 2 hours. There's Daytona. We got to go to Clearwater and New Smyrna.
There's Cocoa Beach. You can go out towards like Cape Canaveral, and when you're going to the Atlantic side.
You can see a rocket launch. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we got to see the little SpaceX go up. That was super cool. We went to the Atlantic side, and we really like New Smyrna because it's pretty cool. You can like drive out on the sand, and you just kind of park right there. Really lovely beach in that it's a really like long beach. Like the sand is really long to get out to the water, and so you have just a lot of area to like play football or let your kids run and dig and make sandcastles and that kind of thing. But then you can like really like literally walk up and put your stuff in your car, and then you can just walk to the downtown area. It's like right there. They've got shops and they've got restaurants, and it's like all of it's just right there, which is really nice.
We ate at the Breakers, which was right off the beach.
It has like windows all the way around, so you can like see out. Just like right there on the water.
Yep. It's got all sorts of great
Lots
food.
of yummy food.
It's got burgers, it's got fish sandwiches, it's got tasty drinks.
Got shrimps.
Got shrimps, all the shrimp. God, I love shrimp. And so we would 100% recommend that place and eat there again.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Flipping to the other coast, we went to Clearwater Beach, which was definitely the most touristy beach we've been to so far.
Yeah. Clearwater is like frequently listed in like some of the most beautiful Florida beaches, and absolutely it lives up to its name. And I think because of that, it is pretty touristy, even in the middle of February, which I guess really is a really lovely time to go.
Yeah.
Unlike New Smyrna, we had to like park in a parking garage and like get all of our stuff packed up and kind of do a little trek out there to a public beach. I guess if you were staying in like a condo, it would be completely different.
But there were a ton of restaurants, a ton of stores, and it was a beautiful beach.
It was a really beautiful beach. It has the fluffy white soft sand. It's been like one of the best beaches that has just like kind of the wading waters that go really far out. And it was a really lovely day when we went. It was really nice and sunny, but you were able to go out pretty far and it was still only like waist deep. So I think that makes for really pretty water. And then the water was really calm because it's on the Gulf side. And then they can just kind of just play in it, and it's not just super high and the waves aren't crashing in like hard or anything like that.
Yeah, and Isaac loves the ocean. Every time we turn around, he is sprinting towards the ocean.
Yeah.
And so knowing that it was a calmer beach with a lot of people around, and knowing that it was just not as deep, it was really, really a great place to take the kids.
Yeah. And when we were like driving across like the big Tampa Bay and the sun was setting, it was really pretty.
It was really pretty.
Really beautiful sunset. It was a really lovely beach. I liked it a lot.
And you literally drive through Tampa.
Yeah.
Fun fact, did you know that the city of Tampa is just Tampa and not the city of Tampa Bay? I learned something new on this trip.
Tampa Bay is its own city?
No. Tampa is the city. It is not Tampa Bay.
Oh, I didn't think it was Tampa Bay.
I didn't know that. I learned something new.
The Bay. Like saying it's San Francisco Bay. San Francisco Bay. Tampa. And the water is Tampa Bay.
They're not the San Francisco Bay 49ers.
That's a good point. Like every name there.
All right. Am I a fool? Maybe. You let us know. Clearwater itself is a nice enough town with all sorts of fun stuff to do. It's a very beachy town. But then you're right next to Tampa, which is a major city that has all sorts of things that you would want to do.
Yeah.
You know, like go see a Bucks game.
Yeah. So I mean that could just be its own thing, its own trip in and of itself. But it was really cool that you can go from Central Florida all the way to the Gulf side, and it's only like a couple hours drive. Or you go from Central Florida to the Atlantic side. It's a little bit of a shorter drive, but I think it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Because obviously the Atlantic versus the Gulf, the waters are very different. I feel like they have completely different feels.
So again, in summary, we spent a lot of time there, but we just got to do a small amount of the insane number of things that you can do in Central Florida. Like, we feel like we really want to go back and explore so much more next time we have the opportunity.
Spending this like winter in Florida has really opened my eyes up to just how beautiful Florida is.
And how much there is.
There's such a diversity of things to see and to do in different landscapes and different age groups, and it's a really neat state. I see why people are attracted to Florida, and especially why they want to winter in Florida.
Yes, it's so true.
Yes.
So yeah, do you have any things that you like to do in that area besides Disney and Universal, which are awesome, obviously? Let us know, because we feel like we just kind of, stumbled into things and did some digging, but we feel like there's so much more to learn and so much more to find. And, not even talking about the restaurants that we didn't eat at, because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So let us know if you have any thoughts or tips.
Yes, or if you've been to the Mount Dora Tavares area, because I don't feel like a lot of people know too much about that, and it is really lovely.
Yeah, so quaint.
So quaint, so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a great week, friends.
Bye.
In specifically the city of Orlando, similar.
I know, the wind is getting me.